What is going on, everybody? This is Dave. Welcome back to another installment of Wolves Weekly. The international break is finally over just about, and now we come in to brand new fixtures in the Championship with Wolves kicking off again against Aston Villa on Saturday tea time. But we've got so much news to go through again, so make sure you hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel to make sure you're updated with all these videos, and let's get into it. So last week we reported, obviously, the Manchester City tickets were on sale. They sold out in the end, probably not as quick as I expected, but obviously we did still sell out quite a big allocation for that game. Wolves have announced that more tickets are due on sale. I think it's in a day or so's time, and I'm sure they will go really, really quickly as well. So we're going to have a sellout away allocation in 2 weeks' time against Manchester City at the Etihad, which hopefully is going to be an absolutely brilliant game, which, as I said, I'm going to be there. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, because there will be a match day experience vlog of that game. In the news as well, in the last week, Wolves and Fosun had said they're going to be revisiting the Molineux expansion plans, which for us as fans is really, really exciting. We always like it when you see like a new infrastructure. You look at these big Premier League, Champions League, European stadiums, and always dream that someday your team will play in them. But for Wolves, they might actually create their own arena just like that. The original plans, I think, were to have Wolves, to have the stadium sort of like a fully circular, sort of similar to the Etihad or so on. But Wolves are going to be revisiting the plans. I think one of the main issues is how they're going to make it so the South Bank remains one tier, and I think they definitely want to do that. And the South Bank, you know, to remain atmosphere and so on, almost make it sort of like our cop. But at the same time, they need the design to look right. They don't want a sort of a circular stadium and then that stands sort of on its own. So it'll be interesting to see how they make it as well. And it opens the fact that maybe Wolves are going to make that stand safe standing as well. Obviously, in the South Bank, very rarely do you see someone sitting down there. So some safe standing may come into action there. They haven't really released any proper plans of yet. The managing director, Laurie Dalrymple, had said they're looking into the fact and want to keep the South Bank one tier. But we're not sure how big it's going to be. We're not sure when or if they're going to start it. I think the original talks is to make it about 38,000, 40,000, which is still quite a big push up. Obviously, they've rebuilt the North Bank. They're going to have to look to rebuild probably the Steve Bull next before the Billy Wright. But it's really exciting, obviously, to have a whole new infrastructure for the Wolves. News as well that Leo Bonatini, the striker at Wolves, on loan at the moment from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia, has said he wants to stay at the club. So far, so good for him. Despite him not sort of being prolific, he still scored a good amount of goals. I think he scored 4 goals so far, and he's got 4 assists. He's already been involved in 8 goals in the Championship, which I think is probably the highest amount or equal highest amount currently in the Championship from the Brazilian forward. And that's what we've needed. If you're going to bring in a striker that isn't necessarily going to score you 20-25 goals, you at least want a striker who's going to hold up the ball or create chances, and that's exactly what he's done so far. So far so good for him, and I think he's definitely a player that I wouldn't mind signing if we go up this season. So the question of the day last week was, what was your first away game, or what will be your first away game if you haven't been to one? We've got quite a few answers on that one. We've got Harry and Ben. They both said their first away games was 10k to MK. There's quite a number of people that said 10k to MK as well. Rodderman said Wolves versus Birmingham, so a pretty good game to go to for your first away game as well. And Alex Harris had said he went to Liverpool versus Wolves in 2009 on Boxing Day, where Liverpool won 2-0, but he does remember Pepe Reina ran about 60 yards to get Milias sent off. Typical. But yeah, question of the day today, we're going to keep it about the stadium. Now, would you like to see Wolves have sort of like a whole structure, circular sort of stadium, where all the stands are joined together, or would you sort of like it to still be quite traditional with the 4 separate stands as well? It's probably sort of a mindset. Maybe if you're in the older generation, you sort of want it traditional, you want the 4 stands, or you know, you might just like the look of a whole brand new stadium and a whole infrastructure. Do let me know in the comment section down below, and you may well be featured in next week's video. So we move on to the international break, where a number of Wolves players, first team players, were out playing for their respective national teams. So we're going to have a quick update on some of those and how these countries and so on are getting on in their World Cup qualifying campaign. So we start off with on loan midfielder Alfred Ndiaye. He represented his Senegal side as they beat Cape Verde 2-0. They are top of their group at the moment. It was 2 late goals for them. Unfortunately, well, he was on the bench, Alfred Ndiaye, so he didn't get to feature in the end, but it's still good experience for him, obviously, to go and train with his national team. Even better was for Romain Saïss and Morocco, who are actually in really, really good form. He played centre-half against Gabon, who on paper have got a pretty strong side as well. And I saw on Twitter that he had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in his back pocket for the whole game. He had a wonderful game in the end for Morocco. They also had a friendly against Korea Republic, which they won 3-1 in. And having a quick look at the lineup, I don't think he played in the end. No, he was an unused substitute in that lineup as well. But 2 very strong games there for Morocco. Prince Oniange also featured, obviously the forgotten man at Wolves. We spoke about him a little bit last week, but he played the full 90 for Congo as they lost out 2-1 to Egypt. You may have seen it on social media as Mohamed Salah's last-minute penalty letting Egypt qualify for the World Cup. But unfortunately, Congo haven't had a good campaign and they won't be going to the World Cup at all. So it's a shame for Prince Oniange. 2 Wolves first-teamers played for Portugal under-21s. They were Ruben Neves and Diogo Jota. They actually lost out 3-1 to Bosnia and Herzegovina in the end, with neither of the players scoring in that match. Continuing with the under-21 trend, Conor Ronan was out with the Republic of Ireland under-21s. However, over 2 games, he only got 2 minutes of football. He came on as a substitute in the 88th minute in a 0-0 draw versus Norway, and they have just beaten as well in the last couple of days. They beat Israel 4-0, where unfortunately he didn't feature. You may be aware as well the England Under-17s World Cup is currently ongoing, where Morgan Gibbs-White is playing. They beat Chile 4-0 in their opening game of the group stage. Morgan Gibbs-White came on for the last 13 minutes or so. And they just beat Mexico 3-2 today as well, where he came on actually for Jadon Sancho for the last 10 minutes or so. The lad that has obviously just joined Dortmund, but it's a fantastic start for the England young boys at the moment. And you may have seen on Twitter as well that Duckens Nazon, obviously out on loan at Coventry at the moment, grabbed a brace for Haiti and he scored an absolute screamer. I'll make sure I put that on the screen for you now. But a wonderful strike from Duckens Nazon, and that opens the question, is he going to be ever seen in a Wolves shirt? Are we going to be able to see him play for the first team on current form for club and country? I think we're missing out a little bit. So now we look towards the game against Aston Villa on Saturday. Obviously, both sides now in decent form. Aston Villa probably hadn't started as strongly as they would have wanted to, but they've come into form a little bit more now. Wolves obviously up into second place at the moment, in good form, bar that little blip against Sheffield United a couple of weeks ago. But I'm really hoping for a good result. We got 2 decent results against them last time. I think we drew 1-1 at their place under Walter Zenga. And then we came back and beat them at home with a Joe Mason goal under Paul Lambert as well. I'm really hoping we can, get 3 points here. I think I'd probably take a point. It's a really tough game. Villa are a good team. They've got experienced players, obviously John Terry as well. And it'll be interesting to see how Nuno lines up for that game. Is he going to stick with the same sort of team that played in the last game? Or is he going to want a little bit more height in there, in Bonatini perhaps, to hold up the ball a little bit more? It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. My match prediction for that game, using a little bit of the mixture of my head and my heart, it's going to be 1-0 to Wolves. Do let me know in the comment section down below as well what your score prediction is going to be. So that is it for Wolves Weekly today. It's probably a little bit shorter than usual. Obviously, we haven't had any match reviews this week, but make sure you do, if you want to, leave a match review of the game against Aston Villa if you're going to be there. It's going to be very, very close to a sellout crowd, if not. And just send it me on Twitter. The Twitter link is in the description down below. You can just send me a video via a direct message, and you can be featured on next week's Wolves Weekly. Do make sure you answer the question of the week: is would you prefer a more traditional stadium with 4 stands, or would you want the contemporary type of stadium, which is all together? Do let me know that in the comment section down below. But make sure you hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until next time, I'll see you all very, very soon.